The topics discussed and the information provided on this program is for general information. The hosts of this show are not medical professionals and are expressing their personal views and stories related to their individual lives. Their views are not intended to be used or taken as medical information. If you or a family member have suffered a traumatic brain injury, you should seek help from a practicing licensed physician.
We hope to help you. We want you to know that there's some life after the hurt.
I'm still alive. And I'm still hurt. But I suppose I always will be. It's what they tell me. Malin is on leave today, shall we say. I was in the military a long time. It's not a vacation day. He took his wife, who has a traumatic brain injury herself, to a doctor, which I understand. I spent all of the day before yesterday at the Neuroscience Center. That's why we're not doctors, we go to doctors. But we share our information that we have to pass along to others to get better, to learn and understand more. Today's understanding, I already got a good understanding of. Let's play baseball again. I got with me the lovely Cindy Brooks from the Newcastle Miracle League. She is our director. We just welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
She's been with us before, and her lovely daughter Hannah. We've talked about the Miracle League and its aspects and its promotion towards the disabled, because how's it go? Everybody deserves to play baseball.
That's right.
And I just did, at 58 years old, for my 7th year in a row again. And the league's been around for 10 years.
10 years.
It's been wonderful. We're growing. It's growing. That's some of the things we want to discuss and talk about. I'm talking to a national all-star player's mother right now. Hannah made the national all-star team.
Yeah.
We have a few things to go over, just to update, just to let you know, because the Optimist clubs, they've picked us up off the waiver wire too, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
We're starting our own little Optimist club through the Hagerstown and Newcastle Morning Optimist clubs,
Breakfast
I believe.
Optimist,
Breakfast Optimist morning. That's my morning. Anyway, so many things to go over. And Cindy, thank you so much for being here.
Where would you like for me to start?
Well, it's the 10th year. This is the year
Yes.
that we just finished. 10 years.
10 years, yes. And we've done great, you know, with the amount of players that we have and volunteers. And we just decided that back in earlier part of this year to kind of step it up a little bit. And, you know, we've decided to talk to the Optimists, the Breakfast Optimists there in Newcastle, and they took us in as a club within a club. So we are actually the Miracle League of Newcastle Optimist Group, and now, which we took on in I believe in May. We have 15 members. We're always looking for more members that will help us, because in the next several years we'll be working towards having our own facility and our own fields to be able to, for all of our players to be able to play at. So this group will allow us to be able to start that and get that going.
Right, because where we play now is in Baker Park in Newcastle. And the way I understand it, she will correct me as I'm wrong. You know, the mayor and the city give us 2 old ballparks in the back of Baker Park that were, you know, old softball fields probably. You've seen them. You know, people, they're still parks. They're just kids play on them. They're not ball fields. And we rebuilt them and worked hard, and her husband and his friends, they put so much work and effort into repainting and getting those fields. And they're right beside Chrysler Fieldhouse.
Yes.
and it started being attractive to them, I believe, as we got the fields back and we were participating and playing on them. So there's been...
We share them with the girls' high school softball, and the JV plays there.
That's a better way of putting it.
Yes, it is. We do share those. They play in the spring. We play towards the end of summer, in the fall, and so it works out. That works out well. Our fields are made different, and we didn't realize it until we agreed upon the sharing that the softer softball fields are too soft for our players, and so for us to start looking, and moving on, they've done great. We have new bleachers, new dugouts on the one field, and
they rebuilt the whole diamond.
The backstops, and
it's really nice.
It is. It is
got a
very nice.
scoreboard.
Right, and they have scoreboards. And that's great, and it's perfect. It's in a perfect location for them. So it would be good for us to have our own location,
Right.
our own facility that we can kind of expand on. It'll be, where we're at now, there are barriers for many of our players. There has the light gravel, there's lots of grass, there's, steps and bumps and, different things like that. The concession stand is built in the 70s, so, there's a lot of things. We did upgrade all the electric and everything, but we just need a new barrier-free location for our players, and so that's what we're planning on doing.
Sure, well, we can build our own little sensory park in the middle of it.
Right. Landscape Structures has an amazing playground that we can piece together for our needs, our players' needs. And then it's an all-inclusive playground. It's not just for someone that might have a disability. It'd be for any child or adult that wants to play and have that fun time in that location. So we're looking forward to being able to do that too.
Right. They make slides. They're not really slides, not what you would think of a slide, but when your body goes down those little rolls. Because I've done it. And it feels like a slide.
Yes.
And that's about as far as I want to take a slide anymore.
Right.
But,
And they have teeter-totters, and they have, all these things that are all accessible. So, they have a sway boat that you can wheel your wheelchair right onto, and, there's all kinds of ramps that go along with that. If you don't have or you can't slide, or you don't have anybody who can do that, there are other fun things that they can participate in that playground. So that's, a lot of our players, many of them have never been able to enjoy a playground like that. So that is a big thing for us to be able to build.
And the smiles on their faces.
Yes, absolutely.
And they attract them just on the swing sets, that they have the ability to get on normally. I've seen it. The smiles on their faces is so much. And their moms or dads or caregivers or somebody's right there to make sure that if they fall, they'll fall too far.
And it's a different kind of ground, so has that nice, soft, different, flex ground that they have, and it makes it a lot different than just playing on a regular playground. So.
It's AstroTurf in the 2000s.
Right.
It's really soft, carpeted-like, and you can slide on it, I suppose, if you wanted to, and not get burnt too much. The kids do.
Yep, it's nice.
I don't think I will unless I fall.
Right. Which would be a lot safer then.
Right, it'd be a lot safer. It's more bounceable. The ball will bounce off of it. We don't play with hard balls anyway. In fact, more so this year, we tried to adjust the balls, or I did. Most of them did. Tried to adjust the type of ball we would throw into guys.
Yes.
Or girls too. Right. Softer balls for younger ones are ones that don't have much of a swing. I think it's a swing, but where they can't hurt themselves or hurt anybody else trying to field the ball or standing in the way of the ball. That's what the buddy system's for, but you're on a ball diamond, balls fly.
Right. It happens.
It happens. It's part of it. I want to talk a little bit about the All-Star game because I'm still excited about that.
Yeah.
This is the first time, and this is a national organization for about 20 years, maybe?
Let's see. I think they're on to, we came in, so this must be about their 15th year.
15th?
I think so.
Started in Georgia?
Yes, it's in Conyers, Georgia, is the national organization. They actually have over 300 Miracle Leagues now in the United States, Canada, and Mexico that have started up. I'm not sure of the count of how many fields, but we have several just within the surrounding states. The All-Star game. Actually, the first one was supposed to be in Houston, Texas, but they had a hurricane last year, and so we didn't get to go to that one, but it was a little closer this year in Findlay, Ohio. And Hannah and I and my family, we went over there. They have a beautiful field. And
they have one of these diamonds.
they have one of these diamonds, and it has. I was really surprised. I've seen them. I've not. I visited one, and but this one was a newer facility, completely barrier free. I mean, there wasn't anything there that would keep a child that was in a wheelchair or an adult in a wheelchair from participating in either the playground or going to the concession stand, playing on the field, even the dugouts, every path, even from the parking lot into the facility was completely flat and everything. So it was just, there were no barriers. And that's what we want for our players, is to have that barrier free. You don't have to worry about anything. Well, how am I going to get in there? The parking lot has gravel in it, or, I have to go up sidewalks or steps, or there's none of that at this. And it was beautiful. There were 90 players from all over the United States, and then we had 3 from Canada. And 70 directors attended that weekend. Wow. And it just was an amazing time.
Big meeting.
It was. And it was kind of neat to speak with other parents, to be able to say, where were they from? I met people from Sioux City, Iowa, Washington, California, Florida, from the East Coast. So that's how excited families are about the Miracle League and what it does for their children. Basically, it's just like a big family. We parents hugged, and directors. We talked about different things that they do. So it was really kind of a learning experience and also a fun weekend to be able to go. And the city of Findlay took us in, and they have, of course, they have a big corporate sponsor, Marathon Petroleum.
It's a pretty big sponsor.
It's a huge, big sponsor, and we got to do a lot of things through Marathon, being able to go to the facility. They had a street fair the night before, large gala on Saturday after the games, and lots of beautiful trophies.
It's
and
like a major league
it
all-star
was.
game host.
It was beautiful.
Smaller scale, but yeah.
Yes, and next year it's going to be held in Sioux City, Iowa. So another participant from our league will be sent out there, and be able to, and their family will be able to enjoy that. So it's looking something they'll do every year. Once we get our facility, then we can host those, also host those events.
Right.
So.
And obviously, and we're not asking for money here. We never do. But, this is the kind of sponsorship that you want to be involved in, I would think, if you had that kind of money.
Right.
Steve Alford, where are you? Kent Benson, where are you?
Sports related.
Yeah, sports related people. I'm sure once we get more into the Indianapolis people, and this is built more, they see. Of course, there's been more identification in a bad way this summer. I'm sure they've read or seen more about us because, sadly,
of the theft.
Our concession stand was broken into the first or second week of football season, early, isn't it?
Yeah, they tore up the front door. We believe it was children or kids, just by the things that they had stolen. We did recover the cash register, which only had a little bit of change in it. But the outpouring from that, the people who, it was on the news. I put it on Facebook, but never thought that the Indianapolis News would pick that up, and then they would come and interview us. And
just about every channel.
Every channel, and we received way more than what was stolen. We were trying to get a figure of all the money that was donated and the funds for that, because we could replace everything. Most of it was replaced that day. We put a thing on Facebook. People brought what we lost: Mountain Dew, candy,
right?
Corn chips, those kinds of things. And so it really did shed a light on a lot of things for us.
And things that you guys, and I know that you'll go ahead and donate to somebody else before they'll get stilled before next season.
Right,
stuff like that. It's not like nobody's keeping this stuff.
Nope.
This is the Miracle League.
And people paid, like we did have some pop left over or whatever, and people came in and bought that. So none of all of that, we made, the money off of those things. And so that's good. And like you said, 100% of anything that's donated to us stays within the league, because none of us are paid. We have no paid CEOs or directors or anything like that. So 100% of every dollar dollar goes right back into building, either going into our building fund or back into the maintenance of, helping our players to be able to play. So.
And we have a good job of playing ball.
Yes.
We enjoy it. I'm on an older group, I guess I'm older, of individuals, and most of them are MRs, I guess you would call it. I hate all those words that they got for everybody. These guys are my friends. Can I teach them baseball? Kind of like I did my first team I was working with, But they're having fun. We're having a blast.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's still the same words I get out from my dad, from his ears when he was sitting up there one day. He said, "Matt, you finally found it.
Yeah.
This is what April Doubleday created. You're all out there just having fun, not keeping score, helping each other out. That's what baseball is all about."
And it's something that so many of our players look forward to. We have our own facility. It may not just be 7 weeks. It'll be, we could start earlier. We could maybe have a spring league. We could have competitive leagues. We could have, there's so much more once we get our own facility that, our players would be able to play a lot longer. Maybe we could play through the week. Those types of things that just having our own place, we'd be able to do that. So.
Well, and a place to go when it's raining, to stand when it's raining, so you really don't have to be out in the rain, because the diamond will be ready to play as soon as it's done raining.
As soon as it's done raining, there'll be drainage. We won't have any issues like we did this year. You didn't get to play one time because of the rain, so while you were all standing out there. So that won't happen, once we get that. So that'd be a good thing.
That was the longest rain out, and I've played. I'm 58. I played a long time. It's the longest rain out I've ever experienced in my life.
Yes, we had
a month.
Yes.
We all got rained out for 3 weeks. And then the first half of the day, they got their games in, kind of. We didn't get to play. I got rained out 4 weeks in a row. My arm was well rested by then.
Yes.
But we had fun. We had a blast through it all. We have our own little Optimus Clubhouse, put them on little fun days and things through the year that we all get together again. That's why I was saying about, it's not so much the kids walking by or the parents or everybody getting something from the concession stand. These are people that are in group homes through the week.
Right.
These are people that have very little money of their own to spend or allowed to go out. They got their $2 for the day. And they're going to the concession stand, and that's where they get to go. Has been broken into and tore up.
Yeah.
Worse than a rain out, people.
That was a tough day.
Tough.
Trying to, then people were showing up, and the police officers were there. The thought that several of our players were worried that what if they came while they were there? They didn't have that safe feeling any longer. I think that, the stuff that was stolen was, all that was replaceable. Our players feeling safe again is what has bothered me the most. And we've had to reassure many of them. I've gotten phone calls from some of them, and, I'm like, it's okay. They're not going to come there when we're there. You don't have to worry about that. That uneasy feeling for them is what's been the hardest for me to try to get that worked back out with them.
Well, because some people are they're full-blooded. They got their families with them. They sponsor them. They go everywhere. They don't live in group. And there's other people that nursing homes or group homes or what they're what they got in the person that's with them for that day who's ever working being their caregiver.
That's all they got.
Yeah. And we're kind of a familiar face after they look at us. I mean, it takes them a second, and to hear that they're being robbed or something like that.
It was personal.
Very
It
personal.
was personal, like someone broke into their home.
Right.
And
that
so
stuff don't happen much.
No. And so, we've, the community did fantastic. Newcastle, they stepped up, and, we had a guy come out right that day, and he fixed the doors for us. They're steel bolted and everything now. We have the Career Center, the welding department there is going to make something for us for the winter time to cover it, so no one can get in there during the winter time. Also, the Career Center is going to help us do something that we can auction off in a few months. So, that happened because of that. Actually, the director of that found our cash register, and that's how we got in touch with him, and it's just kind of a whole thing. But that's going to help us to be able to make funds for the Miracle League. So it's, even though that happened, we keep trying to show how positive it has turned out for us.
Well, and that's the only thing that can ever happen from the Miracle League. It's a positive thing.
Right.
We could just come out positive. I've been playing for 7 years, and they haven't beat me yet. Well, I've lost a lot, though. Because there are no winners,
Right.
There are no losers.
Right.
We all just play ball. And everybody's a winner.
That's right, everybody.
Where's that board? Oh, they got. We're gonna be flashing pictures now.
Yeah.
We had to make some adjustments before the show. Everything you see, the contact information, call it, get involved.
Right.
From all over, we got people. I was talking. There's one guy that plays on my team, and his brother, or maybe his father, and he drives 5 hours from north to come down and see him play on Saturdays. On Saturdays that he can go. 5 hours. There's guys that from Anderson down through Cartersville, Brookville, players from.
We have from Richmond and Union, east side of Indianapolis, Greenfield, Knightstown, Muncie. So we pull from quite a few counties from around us.
Right. And it's a 7-week affair. So you get to enjoy the same thing. Instead of sitting there in his wheelchair, just slumped over or bad for the day, just not with it. 3 or 4 days before the game, they start, got a game this Saturday? And they start getting excited about it.
I get phone calls or text messages or messages on Facebook. Are we going to get to play? Are we going to get to play? So it's a good thing, and I don't mind those. I love getting those, and that they're as excited about it as we are. So I love that.
I still think Newcastle High School might have let us use the gymnasium a couple times, maybe to wheel around and play ball in there this winter. Summer, in the rain.
Right.
But they're very nice to us. It all works good.
They do.
All the bitterness is just people in the stands talking. We're all fine with everybody.
Yep.
It's working great as far as I'm concerned. This diamond that we're playing on now is just fantastic from what it was when we started.
Right.
And all the hard work and effort that everybody put into making those.
It's come a long way.
Yeah. I tried to paint a dugout this year. Jennifer and I in the rain.
It wasn't just a rain. It was a storm.
It
We
was
were
a
out there
storm
in a
that day, wasn't it?
Yes. We got it done, though.
Yes, we
So
did.
we did good.
That's the different types of volunteering and excitement that you get out of it, and you feel better by sharing to somebody else that has a problem that you are raising your child with, that you may not know. When you get to sit in the stands for a couple of months and talk to them and share and watch and gain all kinds of knowledge and information from it. I think these are just wonderful ideas.
Right.
They're beyond Special Olympics. Special Olympics is what it is, and it's a great program.
And there are some who can't be in that. My daughter being one of those.
Right, they can't compete. We don't compete well.
And that's still great. A lot of our players are in that, and so it is a fantastic organization, and we support them. But so many of our players have never had the opportunity to be on a team to do a sport with their peers. And so being on that, even though you get to the joy and fun of playing baseball, they get to wear a shirt like everybody else. It has a number and a name on the back of it.
Yep.
They get to tell people what they've done. They get to say, my friend that plays on my team. That's a huge thing when you've grown up your whole life not being able to do that. So the Miracle League has opened up so much more than what I think they even thought when they first started it, what it would do for so many players and so many families. I never thought I would get to see my daughter play baseball or softball. We can tell her softball, but you know, who thought that she would ever be able to do
Right.
that? And she loves it.
And from a heavy baseball family,
We are.
she got to be involved.
That's right.
Top notch. She's
Yeah.
she's a national all-star.
Right. Yes.
Sorry, Tyler.
Right. He's got a few more years. He'll have to catch up with her.
Yeah. He's it's all good. And your family, like you say, your kids, and they get involved and they work it.
Yeah, they do.
And your family will too. It's a good thing for outside activities for people to be involved with. It's even better if you're in a support type group.
And the buddies, they always think they're coming to change a player's life. And, by coming and volunteering and being out on the field with them to help them play. And what ends up is that player changes that buddy's life.
Right.
Exactly what happens, because they are teaching those buddies that come in there to help these players that people with disabilities, they're okay. People sometimes don't want to be around someone who has a disability, or maybe they're afraid they're going to get something, or something like that along the line. And once they
Right.
realize everybody can communicate, even the ones that that
Struggle
can't
to communicate.
speak or whatever, they all can communicate with somebody, and they've learned that by being a buddy with us. Now that goes on. Some of those buddies are they're 7 or 8 years old. They're going to see a time that we'll never see, and they'll be able to take what they've learned from us into that time, and hopefully be able to spread that information. And that people with disabilities deserves that. That honor, and that they're just like everybody else. They want to have fun. They want to be a part of
Right.
something, and they're going to do that just by
Right.
being a buddy.
Cindy, I guess I'm running low on time.
Okay.
But thank
Thanks
you.
for having me.
Oh, thank you. I guess we got most of the stuff out we want to talk about now.
Okay.
I know I'm going to have the Optimist gentleman
Yeah.
show with us soon, and
Thanks for having me.
I'm just always so happy when I can do shows about things I love. And yes, Alan, I love you a lot, wife too. But I love baseball. It is my life. It always was, always will be. And I found a way. Well, they found a way. I found it in my own searchings too. That it's out there. Find it.
The topics discussed and the information provided on this program is for general information. The hosts of this show are not medical professionals and are expressing their personal views and stories related to their individual lives. Their views are not intended to be used or taken as medical information. If you or a family member have suffered a traumatic brain injury, you should seek help from a practicing licensed physician.